Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you. Another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks. Sampler review series videos I've been doing for a little while now. I go over there, try out food and drink items. I eat stuff, I drink stuff. Then, folks, I'm gonna talk about stuff. I'm gonna let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff. That time I'm doing this, folks, I'm not gonna lie. This seems like it should be delicious. But we'll get into that. Folks, it's super simple format. I'm going to go over there. I'm going to try out food and or drink items for you. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm yammering on about it for a bit. Whilst I'm doing all that, I'm inside my truck. And whilst I'm doing all that, folks, I'm wearing a super cool shirt. And folks, when I wear super cool shirts, I always like to highlight the super cool shirt. What super cool shirt am I wearing for you today, folks? Well, it happens to be the Union Underground shirt. Ooh, the Union Underground. Which, if you're unfamiliar with the Union Underground, that's not entirely unreasonable. Union Underground were/now are again a nu metal band that was originally out of Texas back in like the early 2000s era. They kind of managed to slip in, before the drop off of nu metal, but not that much before it. But the cool thing about it was that they did go over there, they did manage to get some really good years in there, and they actually managed to be pretty successful for what they were doing at the time. Famously, one of their songs was featured on WWE programming. That was kind of their claim to fame. But unfortunately, they did just eventually drop off and were mostly quiet for basically 20 years. Like every so often, the lead singer, would talk about this, that, or the other thing, and then not a lot would happen. But thankfully, in 2024, they finally went on their first tour in 20 years, basically, and I got to be there. It's actually where I got the shirt. I also got some videos of their performance from that show, just in case maybe you want to check it out. Or if you're just maybe interested in the whole thing, hit me up in the comments. I'd love to talk shop about, music and stuff and everything. But anyway, what am I trying for you today, folks? What are we doing here? Well, this sounds like it should be delicious because I hopped on out to a place I've been meaning to review for a while. I'd seen it on my trips, called Mochii Donut. I just got through reviewing one of their Mochii Donuts. Go watch that review. And this is, I think, they're a chain, but I think they might be a local chain, to Illinois. If that's the case, then this review and that review will end up on my Eating Out Illinois playlist, which is just a playlist for, local spots to Illinois. But this one does not come in as fancy a box. Boom! What is it? This is actually a new item. Look at it! It's a big old thing. This is their Ube Mochi Ball. And as far as I can recall, because my brain is dead, it's basically a mix of mochi, ube, and then I think vanilla custard or something like that. And if you're unfamiliar with mochi, it's like a type of Asian pastry. And so basically the Mochii Donut thing is sort of combining sort of Eastern and Western techniques. But, like I said, this was a brand new thing, and I was like, this just looks too damn good for me to not try. So let's get a thing for the thing. It looks like that. Ha 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 ha! It's very, very powdery. Which typically I'm not the biggest granulated sugar guy, but, if you use it right. Oh. That's so cool. For one thing, it's way more filled than I thought it was going to be. I also didn't expect it to be blue, but I guess that's the ube influence. That is insanely good. I like everything about that. That's good. One of the things I've liked so far a lot about this and the donut that I reviewed, I love the texture of it, because it has that mochi influence, so it's going to be a different texture than a traditional donut. And it's not entirely dissimilar. And the thing I mentioned was, reminds me a little bit of Krispy Kreme, where it's very it has a lighter airiness to it. But at the same time, it's not as ethereal as a Krispy Kreme. There's more to it than that. I really love the texture. I love the fact that both of them now that I've had, like, you know, they're donuts, they're treats and everything like that. They're sweet, but they're not like overly so. You know, they're like, this is super tasty. It has a lot of flavor, but it's not like a kick to the face. It's not, you know, overdoing it. And it's really good. That custard is phenomenal. I'm a big, like, when it comes to just normal donuts, my personal favorite is the Boston cream. I love it. I love a donut with filling. This is absolutely fucking delicious. The filling is nice and thick. It's got that, it's definitely, it's that mix of ube and vanilla. So it almost has kind of a Boston cream sort of flavor to it. But then it has the ube to give it something, you know, just give it that something extra. And I will be the first person to admit I do not know off the top of my head what ube is. Like, I think it's like I want to say it's like maybe like a root vegetable, or maybe like a sweet potato kind of thing. But that's just me talking out of my ass. Like, you know, I should have done a little bit of research, but I didn't think about it, and I wanted to eat my donut. This is really good. So much so that I'm going to eat it all. I love that. I was absolutely... And despite having the granulated sugar, it wasn't overly sweet. Honestly, the granulated sugar, you know, gave a little extra sweetness, obviously. But it was almost more textural. I also like that the inside was, you know, kind of almost flaky and moist, but the exterior, you know, had like a proper kind of bite to it. That was fantastic. I like that more than I like the donut I reviewed, and I really like the donut I reviewed. But two questions have to be asked. Would I get it again? Would I recommend it? Folks, not only would I get it again, not only would I recommend it, I'm going to go over there, I'm going to toss this out there, and if you watch my reviews, you know that I don't do this lightly. I'm flat out calling it. That was the business. As much as I enjoyed the Mochii Donut that I had, and it was really good, this for me just hit. Because for me personally, like I said, it played to my palate. It was this like great mix of textures and flavors and just the whole thing of, you know, again, kind of basically the Boston cream kind of thing, but just taking it in a slightly different direction, putting some new flavors into it, and I loved it. From the moment I bit into it, I thought that was just absolutely fantastic. Excuse me. Now, if I'm recommending it, I mean, I'm definitely going to recommend it. And the thing is, I don't even know that it would be particularly off-putting for anybody, you know, who maybe you're not like as adventurous, you know, if you will, and maybe you see the ube thing and you're like, I don't know. Like the ube flavoring, it's mild. It definitely adds something to the whole experience, but it's nothing weird or anything that, you know, I don't think most people couldn't get along with it. I really like this, and that for me was a standout. That is one of those things. It's not as sexy and as beautiful looking as one of their normal donuts, but that just proves, man, it's about what's inside. And in this case, it was delicious ube vanilla, and I really love that. 5 things before I get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of the week, monumental rest of the month, stupendous rest of your folks. Go there, have yourselves a truly ube-tastic rest of your life, because I totally know what ube is, and you can't say that I don't. Final 2 things. Number 1, try to bring some positivity in the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what you do if you can't do it all the time, I know I can't do it all the time. Here's what you do, folks. You're try not to be an asshole. Folks, it's not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me. I know it. I live it. I'm out there every day with you in it. Life can be stressful and frustrating and just bullshit sometimes, folks. And when we find ourselves in situations where we have to deal with said bullshit, it's important that we go over there whenever possible. Take a step back, try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives, hopefully do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, I've mentioned it plenty of times before. I usually like to bring it up when I'm, trying out new local spots and stuff. Try out your local scene. Try out, and different people have different scenes. I'm not, I'm very fortunate. I consider myself that I have so many amazing options and that I continue to find even more. I could, for as much as I've talked about in the past, like, oh, maybe, lulls, if I get to a point with the channel where it's somehow profitable, it will not be. But if I get to a point where, maybe I could go over there, if I, travel around and stuff and try out different things, as much as I would like to do that, the fact of the matter is, I could just stay in Illinois, live to be 200 years old, and never be done, because, like, I have that much cool stuff to keep working off of. And, whatever your scene may be, support it, be part of it, try out new places, especially if you have new spots that open up, try to be supportive of them, because that stuff is just, it enhances our experience, and our locales.